itaye Nrsimho. Narasingamadim Charana Prapade. Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Abhuta Shingam Talita Hiranya Kachipur Talu Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Everybody! Avakara Kamalavare Nakam Abhuta Shingam Talita Hiranya Kashipur Talu Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Nitai Gauda Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gauda Hari Bol. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Prashadam?
Yeah.
It's Prashadam at Shriya 115.
Hare Krishna, so please on the Prashadam at 1:15
At Sevahol C.
at the Haveli
In Sevahol C.
in Sevahol C. Hare Krishna, Mahaprashadam ki jai.
That's the big one. Big one. If people mouth behind you, people don't see it. Did you always say that for me? Next time. Talk to Garo or Damodar Prabhu to buy some more. I joined from a consultant, he's going to ship it.
No, they have cut up. The problem is like
No, not this one. The dark green one. Amazing about this. It doesn't matter how you play them, they just sound amazing. They're gone. Should we go this way? Huh? How are you? All good. I asked, I said, why are you guys here? But it's half time, that's right.
Whenever it's half time, you're already here. Yeah, but I've got like Christmas with Maya for a
Oh, how was it? Did you guys manage to see the planetarium and stuff? Is it like almost done? I heard the days in Maya are huge, right? I really want to, it's on my bucket list.
would you leave it?
We went 20 years ago, just me and such fun, and it's changed so much. Amazing.
How did the girls find it? Enjoyed it?
Love it. We want to go. So planning again.
That's how it should be.
Straight away.
All good. Busy as usual, but yeah, all right. Good to see you as well. Are you guys here later on? So, Remsen Krishnadas is away. He's travelling to India for 4 weeks. But, so the 2 to 6 slot, we're trying to fill it a little bit. So if you guys want to come, feel free to join us. Should we go?
I don't know. One.
Whatever you follow, why we get the babies out of the house, there is various things which you are saying.
When she's older, you Okay, look this way.
Yeah. So, where was I? Now?
He is, right? How are you coping? Good. Takes second time to get on with it. You do,
Yeah. So we planned it. Yeah, they're just there.
I'm going to go once you guys have sorted yourself out.
What's his C1?
Before this, Pandit Krsna every morning, for the grass beef is, we clean them with tila. So whatever is left, there is tila we are using for the blessing. What he brought was not brought.
That's what he gave me a special
So
one.
I told him, no, this is first time he really said to me. So all you have to do is you have to bring them again and again.
Yes.
Now he can recite the mantras and he can do whatever he wants.
So I will tell you basically why we do this, and then I will do the mantras here. So everybody here, I will
Can't go into it.
I'll try. Would you like a seat from there, or would you like to sit on the chair? What would you-
Either. I'm happy with either.
Because that to get out will be
Okay,
quite
we'll
a
stick
heavy.
with the chair then.
Yeah. Okay. Right there. You.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it on?
I actually did a few of them. I did 2 minutes. Starting like 7 and go. I don't like put a reminder for myself. Put a reminder for myself. Microphone number?
The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto,
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
This was.
Thank you everybody for coming to Bhaktivedanta Manor. Hope you're enjoying your day here. We're about to have a class on Bhagavad Gita. So please make yourselves comfortable. We'll start with a few minutes of kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijanat Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakaupatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a beautiful verse from the Bhagavad Gita. This is a treasure amongst many of the verses in the Bhagavad Gita because it speaks to us about how to gain the ultimate perfection in life, how to gain the complete mercy of the Lord. So, how many of you are familiar with the Bhagavad Gita? Let's show a show of hands. Good. How many of you are familiar with the Bhagavad Gita as it is? Okay, a few of you. Quite a few of you. Let me say a few words about what is the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and then we'll get into the verse. Okay. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, yesterday I wrote a short poem on what is the Bhagavad Gita. So I'll share that with you today, and then we can get into the verse. So what is the Bhagavad Gita as it is? The greatest, most priceless treasure gifted to us by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. who sacrificed so much to give us the essence of perfect wisdom from all of Shastra, translated into a language to make reading 1,000,000 times easier, giving us purports compiled from many great acharyas, together with practical real-life examples that we can learn and remember, teachings that we can apply and make our lives unbelievably better. This book explains the meaning of life, how to release ourselves from incessant troubles and strife. It teaches us who we are, our true identity, and about Krishna, the Supreme Personality. Discussing topics of the jiva and karma, the workings of time and material nature. This is a beautiful song, a poem, a life manual, a conversation. It is our personal satellite navigation to get out of this place of suffering, this prison, and find eternal bliss at the ultimate destination. If you read this Bhagavad Gita, if you follow the teachings of this Bhagavad Gita, this unlimited source of nectar, then your life will become increasingly sweeter. So we're reading from Bhagavad Gita 2:64. Ragadvesha vimuktaischu vishayan indriyaischaran atma vaishya videyatma prasadam adhigacchati. First of all, I'll read the translation from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Then we have a short purport from A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is already explained that one may externally control the senses by some artificial process, but unless the senses are engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance of a fall. Although the person in full Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to its sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment and detachment. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Therefore, to act or not to act is within his control, because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of being attached to the sensual platform. So, let us just repeat that translation, that brief translation before, and because you have to listen to it carefully and pay attention to it to actually grasp what it's saying. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. So what does this mean? Let's try and break this down to understand it and digest it, and hopefully learn something from it to apply in our lives. So everyone has so many material attachments. Each one of us have so many, hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of material attachments. And we have a tendency to have an aversion to serving Krishna. But why do we need to control our senses? When we connect to our senses with sense objects, we develop an attachment to them. This attachment can then grows into lust, and that lust grows into anger or greed or envy or all three. This lust, this all-devouring lust, sits within our senses, our mind and our intelligence. It is a poison that covers our real knowledge and bewilders us, leading us to so much misery and suffering. We are all slaves to our senses and sense objects. We cannot control ourselves when they strike. We are slaves to our uncontrollable minds because our minds are slaves to the senses. And therefore, we're also slaves to our past karma. We are slaves to our bad habits and tendencies. We are slaves to all the enemies within us, such as lust, greed, anger, ego, envy. And we are slaves to higher authorities. We are slaves to old age, sickness and bodily death. We don't have control over any of these things. We cannot, but we say we don't want to control our senses. We want to enjoy. Who here wants to enjoy? You all want to enjoy. We all want to enjoy. We don't want to be miserable, do we? We want to enjoy. But how much can we enjoy in this material world? Actually, it's impossible to enjoy in the material world. All we can hope for is some drops of happiness, which is temporary relief from our suffering. Although we put so much effort into so many sacrifices to gain some enjoyment, we work long hours. We go through so much stress in our lives. Sometimes we don't even get that piece of enjoyment that we're chasing. Sometimes we get some, but it's not enough to satisfy us. Usually we get a lot more problems than happiness. Usually so many things that we want, it doesn't work the way that we want it to. People don't act the way that we want them to. Things don't happen the way that we want them to. And we get frustrated. We get frustrated because of so many things. And that's not being happy. So we need to conquer over this lust. We can't get rid of the senses. As a living entity, we must have senses. It's part of us. Without senses, we're just like dead stone. So senses must be there. You cannot avoid it. That Mayavada philosophy that says, give up your desire. How can I give up desire? How can any of us give up desire? Desire you must have, because as a living entity, there must be desire. You cannot hide from these desires, and you cannot stop these desires voluntarily. Some say that if you actually try and suppress desires, then they're just suppressed temporarily, and one day they may just blow up like a volcano and give us even greater anxiety and trouble and stress. There are so many examples from the Srimad Bhagavatam that illustrate how powerfully strong our senses are and demonstrate how even the highest elevated souls can be overpowered by them and engage in lower degraded activity. So if we do not conquer our senses, they will degrade us. They will lead us ultimately to immense suffering in the hellish planets. Who wants immense suffering in the hellish planets? I pray that that happens to none of us here. In this temporary world, there is no lasting happiness. Chasing after such temporary happiness just leads us to more and more suffering. There is only real happiness, real eternal bliss, in the spiritual world. So, what to do? In order to conquer our senses, in order to conquer our lust, there are two things that we need to remember. Two things that hopefully you can take away with you and remember. One, it's regulation, and two, rhymes with regulation. Would anybody like to have a guess? Purification. So we need to work on regulation and purification side by side. Regulation starts with the 4 regulative principles. That is, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. Because these are the 4 pillars of sin. Find everybody that comes here that starts to take their Krishna consciousness seriously will make vows that they strictly adhere to these 4 principles. And a sinful activity starts with the tongue. We need to start conquering the tongue first. We have to engage the tongue in a way that will help to purify us and avoid engagement in ways that lead to our degradation. There's different ways that we use our tongue at the moment. How do we use our tongues? How do you use your tongue? Yes, we speak, we talk. How else do we use our tongues? Eat, perfect. You've got the 2 things, the 2 main things. To eat and to speak. So, to purify ourselves, rather than speaking about any mundane gossip or any subject matter that is not of value, of benefit to you or anybody else, then the ultimate thing that we can do with our tongue, the highest, most powerful thing that we can do with our tongue, is chant the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Come on, please chant with me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the other thing we should, as you said, speak. But also, when we speak, we can speak about Krishna. We can speak about his beautiful pastimes. We can speak about his devotees. We can speak about glorification of Krishna, or glorification of his pure devotees. Or we can sing nice kirtan or bhajans about Krishna, or glorification of Krishna. And the other thing you said, as you said, this gentleman said, we also use our tongues to eat. So, when we eat, we can eat wholesome, healthy foods, sattvic foods. Ultimately, if you can do, try to eat Krishna prasadam every day. You cook every day, you have food at home every day. Try to cook something for Krishna. Something, all he asks, he doesn't ask for much. In the Bhagavad Gita, it just says he asks for a little water, a leaf, a fruit, or flower. So that's something that we can also all find. So whatever you wish, offer something to Krishna and then eat that, and that will purify your tongue. And then once the tongue is conquered, that works its way down the body, purifies the stomach, purifies the genitals, and that also helps us to redirect our thoughts, our words and actions, and how we ultimately engage our senses. And then when Krishna recognizes our efforts in this way, When Krishna sees how much we're endeavouring to do this, and he will be pleased with us, and ultimately he'll give us mercy. Mercy that enables us to conquer our senses. You've probably all seen so many slogans and adverts and videos and classes and lectures about people in the world talking about how to control the mind. Many talk about how to control the monkey-like mind. But ultimately, we cannot control our mind without controlling our senses. Because even if we control our mind temporarily, ultimately because the mind is a slave to our senses, eventually it will give in. So we have to control our senses. So we mentioned in the verse regulative principles of freedom. So we might say, how can regulations be freedom? You may even say, we don't want regulations. We don't like restrictions. We don't like to be told what to do and what not to do. We want to be free to enjoy our life however we like, wherever we like, doing whatever we like, with whomever we like. However, regulations are always there, are they not? We have to follow the laws of this land. What happens if you don't follow the laws of this land? You pay the punishment, right? You may even end up in a prison cell. So we are also bound by the laws of nature. There's nothing we can do about that. The laws of nature will work, whatever we do. If there's a fire, the nature of fire is to burn. If we put our hand in that fire, what will happen? It will burn. If a small child puts their hand in that fire, what will happen? It will burn. There's no way we can stop the laws of nature. That will just continue. So, we're also bound by the laws of karma, the reactions of all our past actions. Every action that we make in this life, and so many millions, billions of previous lives perhaps, they all have a reaction, and we all have to pay for that. Sometimes it's good reactions, sometimes it's not so good. So there has to be rules, there has to be regulations. Every sector of society that you go into, every group, even amongst your own family, among your friendship groups, among your workplace, everywhere you go, there are rules. They may not all be written down, but you accept them as rules. So to overcome them, we have to accept the rules. And for that, discipline is required. Do we have any students here today? Every student knows, yes, that to be a good student, you have to be well disciplined to do well in your studies. If you don't have the discipline, then your mind will just be distracted here and there, everywhere. There's billions of things to distract your mind. Anybody an athlete here? We know that great athletes in this world, they put through so much effort, endeavour, so much sacrifice, which requires an abundance of discipline. Anyone who trains to be a doctor or any other profession, they have to go through so much discipline. I'm sure you've all been through so much discipline to do things in your lives. So, and these principles, these regulative principles that we speak about, regulative principles are the do's and don'ts in life. If things that we do that will help us, bring us closer to Krishna, and things that we mustn't do that will hinder us, take us further away from Krishna. And so these regulative principles, they are not actually restrictions on us. they're not actually restrictions on our freedom, but they are restrictions on our enemies. Our enemies being our senses that go out of control. Our enemies such as lust, ego, envy, anger, greed. And our enemy that we wish to tame and make our friend, which is our crazy, delinquent mind. So, these regulations are restricting them from causing us from more suffering and more bondage. By following the principles sincerely, we attract mercy from the sadhus, and thus we can become of steady mind. We can control our senses. We can subdue our inner enemies. There are 6 principles favouring the execution of pure devotional service. But let's keep this simple. First and foremost, we may not all be able to follow the 64 regulative principles that Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about in the Nectar of Devotion. But we can all keep to some simple regulations. The most powerful thing that we can all do is to chant the Mahamantra. That is the best thing we can do to control our senses, to control our minds, and to keep things like anger and envy away. So, please chant the Mahamantra. And there are no rules to this chanting of the Mahamantra. You can chant this at any time of day, any time of night. You can chant it in your mind. You can chant it out loud. You can chant it wherever you are. You can even chant it whilst you're in the bathroom, in the toilet. There are no rules and there are no restrictions. So just chant the Mahamantra as much and often as you can. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Other simple things that we can do is, as I mentioned already, try to eat foods that are good for us. Try to eat good foods that are healthy and nourishing. Ultimately, try and eat food that has first been offered to Krishna Prasadam. You've all come here today, and that's so amazing, and you will all get so much purification just by being here today. Try and come as often as you can. Come and take darshan of the Lord. Come and try to take association of the devotees as much as you can. Because when we're trying to fight against our crazy senses, the best way we can do that is by coming into contact with the devotees that have already been practicing this for some time, and some of which are advanced in this process. So try as much as possible to take the association of devotees. Come here, come take part in some of the classes, or perhaps do some volunteering. You can do anything that you like. Anything that you like to do. You can just, let me do something that I enjoy doing, but do it for Krishna. And it will help you so much. If you can, try to read a little. Even if you read only one page from the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, one verse from the Bhagavad Gita, if you can just read one small verse each day, every day, then that will help you so much on your journey. You'll find that this is not just things that help us in Krishna consciousness. This is not just things that help in spiritual life and help us come closer to Krishna. But all of these things I say, they will help you in your material lives. I'm sure that everyone has so many problems and anxieties that we get faced with in material life. So all of these things will help us in material life too. Also in material life, why do we get angry? The reason why we get angry is because things don't go the way that we want them to. People don't do the things that we want them to, or act or say the things we want them to. We don't achieve the things that we want to. Things get in the way and block us. And that makes us angry sometimes. But that's because we have attachment to those things. That's because our senses are out of control. They're forcing us to say, I want this, I want this, I want this. So these things, if you can practice some of these things on a day-to-day basis, they will help you so much in your life. And as an added bonus, they will bring us closer to Krishna and bring us closer to that ultimate stage of bliss that we hope to achieve one day. So, and by practicing these things, like as an association of devotees, chanting the Mahamantra, reading, trying to remember, try to say a prayer to Krishna. If you have a photograph, many of you will have at least photograph, if not idols, or if you don't have deities yourself, you'll have at least a photograph. Then you can say a prayer to Krishna every day. Build your relationship to him, because Krishna loves you and he's waiting for you to turn to him. He's waiting desperately. Every moment he's saying, is he turning to me? Is she turning to me? And the moment that you turn, he's so happy and he'll shower mercy upon you. And the more you do in this line, he'll shower mercy from you. And when you feel any problems, or even if you don't, you can protect ourselves. We cannot protect ourselves with our arms. We cannot protect ourselves with our fists. You may be very strong and powerful, but we cannot protect ourselves with weapons such as this. The only way we can protect ourselves is via our connection with Krishna, by praying to Krishna, by remembering Krishna, by chanting the names of Krishna, seeking higher association to help, just calling out, Krishna, Krishna, I need you, come, please, please give me your mercy. You can say it in any style, any shape, any fashion. Krishna does not care how you express your prayer. He just wants to hear you, see you, turn to him, and he'll shower you with an abundant love. And the best way to approach Krishna is through his devotees. And the best way to approach his devotees or come into contact with Krishna at any stage is through the Mahamantra. So it's almost time to finish now. So please try to chant Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please try to read a little every day. If you're already reading, try to read a little more. Try to take association of devotees. Try to pray. Try to sing a little kirtan or bhajans, or at least hear. You can put them on YouTube and listen to them and sing along. Try to do something for Krishna. And thank you all for coming here. Please come again. Please come as often as you can. Thank you for being such an amazing audience and listening. It's been my great pleasure to do this tiny little service just to share a few words with you. I hope that's been useful for you. We've got about 4 minutes left, so if anyone has any comments, any questions, any criticisms, any corrections that you would like to make for any mistakes that I made, then please speak. If there's no questions, then thank you very much. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day and a beautiful rest of your journey and your life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.